Very dear students, today we are going to discuss non-literary stylistics. We have been discussing what is literary stylistics, and we have an imagination that this thing would be available in literature. But these days we have not only literary pieces but also we have non-literary pieces. So that is why it is essential that a little bit of the discussion on non-literary stylistics would also be used in order to comprehend them better, in order to understand their message and the intentions of the writer. If we look at the definition, this stylistics thing can be very easily defined as the study of linguistic style in the text. It has got two main branches. One is the literary text, which means that examining of artistic and literary text. But on the other hand, we have non-literary stylistics also, whose job is to focus on everyday functional language. How does it do so? Let us see. In this case, when we talk of the non-literary stylistics, we actually mean study of language used in non-literary context. Now, what does it do? It focuses on functional, persuasive, and informative aspects of language, how language is used to perform a particular function, how language is used to persuade or to give a persuasive environment, and how the information is being conveyed. This type of thing can be seen in advertising, journalism, legal text, and political speeches. Some of the examples can be there. And in the same way, if we want to know what is the need of understanding all that, if it is existing somewhere, what is the need? The need is to, because it helps in understanding persuasion in media and politics, that we will be able to understand how words are used, statements are given, how particular jargons are used in order to persuade us in media or in the political speeches. Besides doing this persuasive function, it also aids in critical reading of news and advertisement, that any people who are involved in CDA, they may be able to critically analyze all these advertisements in order to feel what is being said there. And while doing so, it enhances effective communication in professional settings. So in this way, when we do these things with the help of non-literary stylistics, it has got its own singular importance or significance. There are some areas where non-literary text should be applied to understand the things. For example, advertising language, because the language is used to persuade and to tell some of the slogans or to design these slogans, or some of the rhetorical devices are introduced. There, non-literary stylistics should be used. In the same way, when we want to see what is the journalistic style, which is mainly objective, which is mainly biased, and it's got its own tone, there also area of non-literary stylistics is employed. Similarly, legal language, where a lot of precision is employed, formality is kept in mind, and the structure is particularly designed for that purpose, it is also one of the key areas of non-literary stylistics. Same is the case with political discourses. There, most of the time, the speaker or the writer involves in power dynamics or a particular type of rhetoric, or he wants to propagate certain specific agenda. In that case, also, non-literary stylistics would be important. And lastly, social media and digital communications, which is the norm of the day, they are mostly informal, they have a specific tone, and brevity is used in such messages, and emotive impact is also seen and measured. In such an area also, non-literary stylistics become important. If we try to see what are the main features of non-literary stylistics, we can have number one feature is the clarity and conciseness. It is simple and direct also. Second feature is that most of the time this type of stylistics have to be persuasive, and for this purpose it uses rhetoric and emotional appeal. Then there are particular jargons and formalities of a particular field which are varying themselves from context to context. So if it's legal, if it's advertising, there will be different type of jargons or the context available. Then there are structural organization of the sentences that is done in order to produce a logical flow and coherence. So that becomes important when we are studying non-literary stylistics. Some of the cases can be discussed. For example, the case of advertising, the language used in that advertising can be catchy. For example, just do it. Nike advertisement mostly says just do it. And therefore there are some emotive language triggers also which is used. For example, saying that buy now, or it's a limited time offer, it's a special edition. These are the ways used in order to persuade. And as a result, we can see that these things can be supported by the use of visual elements alongside text for greater impact. The second case study can be of the political discourse also, as Donald Trump most of the time has been saying, make America great again. So this is the type of persuasion which is used in order to create specific effects through repetition, through contrast, through certain metaphors, and framing some of the issues. For example, Barack Obama said that yes, we can. It means that he was trying to convince the people that he could do. Such kind of studies can be under the non-literary stylistics jargons or the methodology. Similarly, we can see that where we can apply this non-literary stylistics, we can apply in media analysis in order to understand what is the bias in the news. It can be applied there. Same is the case with marketing and branding. If we want to see how the persuasive content has been used, we would be able to understand that. Same is the case with law and privacy, or policy making. There, the drafting of clear documents is very much necessary. For this purpose, non-literary stylistics will be taken care of. In public speaking and debates also, in order to enhance the rhetorical impact, non-literary stylistics are used in order to create the specific impact. And then we can therefore conclude in the end that non-literary stylistics is essential for understanding real-world communication. It helps in identifying persuasion techniques used in various domains, encourages critical thinking and effective communication. And lastly, it is relevant in journalism, marketing, law, and politics. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you again in some next video. If you get something out of this video, got some understanding, do not fail to hit the subscribe button and the like button. See you soon.